and game day coverage right now.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
You know that feeling. You're finally asleep and bam, a leg cramp comes out of nowhere. Look, I played through pain, but waking up with a leg cramp at 3 a.m., that sucks. So I don't mess around anymore. I keep Highland's Leg Cramps PM on my nightstand. No groggy side effects, no harsh meds, just a fast, effective relief that lets me sleep through the night without the Charlie horse surprise. Get the sleep you need with Highland's Leg Cramps PM. Get it today at Walmart, Walgreens, or CVS. Highland's Leg Cramps PM, because you don't need a midnight workout.
Hey guys, it's Cappy, and I want to talk to all the football fans out there. We make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss the excitement of the season on Prize Picks, where it's so good to be right. When I say that, here's what I mean. Dude, when you go 6 for 6 on Prize Picks, and believe me, I've done it many times because I'm right like that. It is so much fun to know that you are right and that you are going to score big time. Because sometimes when you make the right plays on Prize Picks, you go 6 for 6, man, you could increase your money by like 2,000 times. But you could also play the flex play. And when I say that, here's what I mean. You might go 5 for 6 and still make a lot of money. Prize Picks is so easy to play. You just pick your favorite players, and then they've got a stat projection, and you pick more or less, and you're going to have so much fun watching football when you're playing Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the code CAPPY, K-A-P-P-Y. Make a $5 play, get $50 in lineup. That's code CAPPY, K-A-P-P-Y. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Here we go, Sunday, September 28th, 2025. Let's do it. Our Rams are back at home at the Palace in Inglewood. Time to battle the Indianapolis Colts. We get you ready right now with the Toyota Rams countdown to kickoff with Travis Rogers and Sua Cravens live from Cosmo, Los Angeles. But first, time to hear from the big voice guy.
Well, it was absolute heartbreak last Sunday in Philly.
Snap, hold, right-footed boot, blocked again! It's blocked again!
As Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams return home to the Palace in Inglewood, it's time to battle another unbeaten squad. Nobody had the Indianapolis Colts being 3-0 for their trip to L.A. But here we are on this Week 4 NFL Sunday. Time to make sure our Rams don't let this become a trap game at SoFi. Time to bounce back and move to 3-1 after today.
The Rams, the Colts, Week 4 NFL Sunday.
Here we go, 2 hours until kickoff at SoFi Stadium. Rams Colts, Week 4 NFL Sunday.
Hi, this is Matthew Stafford of your Los Angeles Rams, the home of Rams football.
Hi, this is Coach Sean McVay. Whose house? Rams house.
Let's get ready for kickoff.
We're getting ready for kickoff right now on the Toyota Rams Countdown to Kickoff.
Driven by your Toyota dealers, official automotive partner of the Los Angeles Rams.
Now live from Cosmo, Los Angeles, with Sua Cravens, here's your host, Travis Rogers.
Week 4 of the NFL season, Sua, was supposed to be the time that the Indianapolis Colts come into Southern California. The Rams have the scheduled victory because the Colts are going to be terrible. The Rams are going to be off to the races, and here we are. And the Colts are coming in, and they are one of 6 remaining unbeaten teams in the league. Go ahead and try to figure any of this stuff out. Right?
Indiana Jones, baby. You don't know what to expect. You told me the Colts were going to be undefeated and having one of the most high-powered offenses in the NFL right now, dropping like 30 points a game. I'd say you're a liar.
Yeah.
You need to go to the doctor. You need to get checked out. You have mental issues. That's actually what's taking place.
So, okay, let's start right there. Is that what's taking place, that the Colts are – we know Jonathan Taylor's real good. We know Michael Pittman Jr. is really good. The question about the Colts coming into this was, who the heck's going to play quarterback for him? Is Anthony Richardson going to figure it out? And they're not going to really use Daniel Jones, are they? And here we are, Anthony Richardson. I've talked about him all season long. He's obviously not the starting quarterback. It's Daniel Jones. And he's doing a little bit of what Saquon did, right? A little bit of, hey, just get me out of this place, man, and let me show you what I can do.
New life. And we got to give credit to the Colts because they got a lot of backlash for the Daniel Jones signing because they had just drafted Richardson. And let me tell you, NFL GMs do not like to admit when they're wrong. And when you draft a quarterback early and then trade for a quarterback immediately after, that means you're doubting your own pick. And that's risky business, especially if you're not winning. They've always had the defense. They've always had the running back. They, like you said, they needed the quarterback. Indiana Jones has taken the spot and is running away with it. I don't think Richardson plays again in the Colts uniform.
You know what I don't like about Indiana Jones and the nickname? It's too perfect. Yeah. It's just too on the nose. It's like you just can't. If you're going to be Indiana Jones, I need you to be like Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning. Like the nickname outkicks the performance. Yeah.
On top of that, Daniel Jones, I feel like he's gotten more handsome now that he's at the Colts and not stressed out of New York.
Well, yeah.
The defense is working. You're looking better. You're playing better. What's going on? What the hell is happening?
He probably wish he would have left New York a long time ago if he knew this is how it's going to shake out. And, of course, hopefully that is a story that we kind of look back on as a launch point for this team going forward. That was as bizarre, confusing. This a loss that I've seen under Sean McVay, where the Rams did not play like the Rams for an entire half of football.
They just complete meltdown. Second half lapse. It's inexplicable. I couldn't tell you what happened, but we saw a perfect brand of football the first 2 quarters of the game, and then you saw the polar opposite of what that is in the second half. That's not a Sean McVay ran football team. It happens, though. It's the NFL. These are professionals on both sides of the ball, but just an uncharacteristic loss for the Rams.
Yeah, like you said, so it wasn't just an uncharacteristic. It was the first half. You could not have drawn it up any better. Like everything that you would have wanted to have happen happened. They hit Devontae Adams with a big play. They were hitting on the ground. They were able to stop Saquon Barkley from dominating on defense, getting to Jalen Hurts, putting pressure on him, scoring.
A.J. Brown didn't have a catch.
A.J. Brown was nowhere, and then the exact opposite of all of that took place in the second half.
It happens. You know, teams heat up. This is a good football team as well. You're talking about potentially the best football team in the NFL, reigning NFL champ right now. They have weapons. They have Saquon. They got. We're not even talking about Devontae. That Goddard didn't even. I don't think Goddard played last week.
No, he had a touchdown.
Oh, he had a touchdown.
Yeah.
So they have weapons. It's not like this is a team you're supposed to shut out. But when you see them, when you see the Rams put together such beautiful complementary football on both sides where the offense is running the ball. They're going 10-play drives, taking 6 minutes off the clock, finishing with a touchdown. Defense is getting 3 and outs. When you get that in the first half, you get a little spoiled because you're saying my team is the best thing since water. Then you see in the second half, you're like, what is this? So it's a frustrating loss.
You and I, when we went into talk during halftime last week, the Rams were up 16 to 10, I believe is what it was. And we're saying, look, they're in a good spot, but they should be much further ahead. They should be. They kicked field goals instead of scoring touchdowns. How do they do better in the red zone today than they did a week ago?
Got to stay out of second and long when you get into the red zone. I think they would get into that other side of the field, feel like, okay, we got clock, we can milk clock, we don't have to rush, and then forget that, hey, we're a high-powered offense. We can attack downfield, and I felt like they got into second and long or third and intermediate where it's not necessarily short where it's 4-down territory, but you also don't want to leave empty-handed because the team is so good. I think today when you get into that red zone, you get on the other side of that 40-yard line, be aggressive. Take those shots. Attack with the goal ball, the back shoulders. We haven't seen too many back shoulders since Devontae this year besides week 1. Use that back shoulder. Get Puka the ball over the middle. Be aggressive and live with the results.
On the Road is driven by Subaru of Glendale, the #1 Subaru dealer in America. Find your next Subaru at Subaru of Glendale or at SubaruofGlendale.net. So tell me which of these two things is more surprising. They probably go together. That
the Colts are 3-0 through the first 3 weeks of the season, or that the Colts have punted one time in 3 games. One time in 3 games they've punted the ball away.
Somebody over there needs to go play the lottery. Like, I don't know what's that. The stars are aligning for the Colts. They're in a favorable division. Texans don't look good this year.
They haven't won a game yet.
They don't look good.
Yeah.
The Jags don't look good. Don't know who beats this team. Titans aren't, so the Colts might be a real playoff bye-week contender. They might be.
So when you think about them, and it's Jonathan Taylor, right? Like I know that Daniel Jones is having a good year, but if you stop Jonathan Taylor and you kind of run back the game plan they had against Philadelphia against Indianapolis, which is take the all-pro back off the table, or at least make him work for everything he's getting, make the quarterback that maybe we're not sure can just walk you up and down the field like that. If they do what they did against Philadelphia, I think they'll have a great deal of success.
Yeah, and you also don't have to worry about as many weapons down the field, so you can take the all-pro running back away without necessarily being left exposed in coverage, because it's not A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on the outside. It's not a first-team all-pro receiver and a Heisman Trophy winner on their opposite sides. You can get a little Pierce's out, but you can get a little single in coverage and let these youngins get pressure on the quarterback, because you don't want Daniel Jones sitting back there. You got to pressure him up. But I'm okay with these young DBs against these receivers today.
Order for pickup on Uber Eats at SoFi Stadium, and you can skip the line so you don't miss any of the action. Use code RAMS to get up to 40% off your next 3 stadium pickup orders of $25 or more. Terms apply. Expires February 8th, 2026. You mentioned pressure, Sua. They got pressure on Jalen Hurts in the first half, and then they got virtually no pressure on him in the second half. Was that something Philadelphia did, or is that something that the Rams stopped doing?
It was a mix of both. Philadelphia, they started leaving tight ends in, and on top of that, they started getting the ball out quick instead of trying to get the deep shots. Also started getting Saquon the ball out to the flat fast just to get some rhythm going, and that worked for them. But also the Rams, I think they wanted to go a little conservative and not give up the big play and not give up the 40-yard score that Saquon had. Again, you can't blame him for having PTSD. He has a few 60-plus yard runs.
4 of them.
When he's bottled up all game, and then all of a sudden, off the shelf, and it's over.
Yeah.
So they didn't want to give that up, and that's probably why they got a little conservative.
Yeah, I really do think that after the sting of what happened a week ago, after quite frankly, the shock of wait, not only did we let a big lead go away, not only did we get 2 kicks blocked, but they still had a chance. It reminded me so much of the playoff game they had against Tampa the year they won the Super Bowl, where they were way ahead at the half. They were just killing Tom Brady.
Tom Brady storms back.
Right, and then here comes Tom Brady. It's like, uh-oh, don't let him do it. Don't let him do it. They hit the big ball to Cooper Kupp. They kick the field goal, and they win. It felt like it was going to be that, and there was an opportunity to kind of jump forward at that point and kind of launch yourself into the next part of the season. Can you put yourself in that, hey, a lot of stuff went right. I know there are no moral victories in pro sports. I totally get it. But we did a lot of really good things in that game. Let's just eliminate some of the bad ones and take all the positives out of it.
Yeah, you got to have a next play mentality, and hopefully your team doesn't have a hangover from the loss. It sucks. You were in that game. You should have won that game. You should be undefeated. All those things are true, but you can't let that dictate how you move into the following week. You got to just have a DB's mindset.
It's tough, man.
It is tough.
Yeah.
A funny story, I gave up my first ever touchdown in coverage ever, my last home game at USC against UCLA. And my coach comes to me and goes, let it go. Because he knew how I was. I'm like, oh, my God.
What happened?
What is this feeling? This is what's happening to me. And he knew to me, let it go. Be the player you are. The rest of the game, Thomas Duarte didn't have a single catch. He was targeted 10 times that game. So you need your team to have a DB mindset. Let it go. And kind of actually take that anger and use it as fuel for today.
It's like a relief pitcher. Somebody needs to get to Tanner Scott and tell him to let it go. I mean, not that I'm preoccupied with any of that stuff.
Mr. Scott can't catch a break right now.
No, I'm just saying that sometimes you just got to let stuff go.
Brace Elsa. Let it go.
Yeah,
let it go.
There you go. Little Frozen action. Yeah, so I'm very optimistic about today. I think that we listened to Sean McVay after the game when he was speaking with JB and Maurice, and you could tell he was disappointed. You said it. You played for Sean McVay. You know how he talks, that he was angry.
Yeah.
But you could also tell, he was already getting to work on what they're going to do today.
He's motivated. I think if the Rams would have had a bye week after that Philly loss, I think McVay would have went crazy. I think he would have been sitting in his office just chomping at the bit, drawing up plays like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to – it's like, Coach, it's a break. You guys lost, take the break. So I'm glad they're going to get a chance to rebound before they actually do take a break, because then you can hit the ground running, get guys healthy. But McVay was pissed about that loss. He was very upset about that
was
loss.
A very un-Sean McVay, un-Rams-like loss. We have not seen many like that over the 9 years now that Sean McVay has been the coach of this team. That one kind of stands out. We've seen him play bad, but never kind of like that. And they don't play bad very often either, but that was just I don't know what I'm looking at out there. Hopefully they got it squared away coming up against the Colts today. We're going to check in with the voice of the Rams, J.B. Long. He is going to join us next on the Toyota Rams Countdown to Kickoff, driven by your Toyota dealers, official automotive partner of the Los Angeles Rams. We make it easy. J.B. Long coming up next.
The legacy continues.
Gaming and casino partner of the Los Angeles Rams. See for yourself what made readers of Newsweek and USA Today name Pechanga the best casino outside of Las Vegas. Visit Pechanga.com for more information.
From breaking down the biggest stories in sports to wild TSA run-ins at the airport.
Man, they took my Tinactin.
Who did?
The TSA. They took my Tinactin,
Keith's
man.
so mad about
the tough acting Tinactin?
My tough acting Tinactin.
That's the kind of real-life, laugh-out-loud stories you only get on the DeMarco and Travis Afternoon Show.
Did you have the big can?
I had the big can.
Can't bring the big can.
Can't bring it.
It's a charter.
DeMarco Farr, Travis Rogers, and the crew.
Took my Tinactin, bro.
Weekday afternoons on 710.
And I'm fighting a battle down here right now. But I mean, I've been following like the can, like to the nth degree, spraying between the toes on top of the
feet.
It's getting bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to keep them dry.
Yes, it's hard when you're walking a million
Got
miles.
hammer time down there?
You didn't have to go there, man.
You did not.
The DeMarco and Travis Afternoon Show. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 710 ESPN, the all-new ESPN LA app, and streaming live on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles.
Hey, this is Rich Eisen. The Hall of Famers Mason and Ireland have a new show to lead into theirs. The Rich Eisen Show comes to ESPN LA. My show from 9 a.m. to noon, followed by Mason and Ireland, the perfect 1-2 punch for your workday.
This is the Toyota Rams Countdown to Kickoff.
On your home of Rams football.
And it is Week 4 NFL Sunday. Our Rams are back at home today at the Palace at Inglewood. Time to bounce back and take care of the AFC South and hand the Indianapolis Colts their first loss. We got you down to kickoff right now.
Hello, this is Puka Nacua of your LA Rams. Rams football is back.
You're listening to the Toyota Rams Countdown to Kickoff.
Driven by your Toyota dealers, official automotive partner of the Los Angeles Rams. We make it easy.
Once again,
live from Cosm, Los Angeles, with Suak Ravens.
Back to Travis Rogers.
All right, let's make our first trip into beautiful SoFi Stadium to check in with the voice of the Rams, none other than J.B. Long. J.B., good morning. How are you today?
Hey, good morning back to you as well. I'm doing really well. Thank you for having me on, as always, and looking forward to getting a bad taste out of our mouths from last week, as I'm sure you share.
Absolutely, JB. Sue and I kind of spent the opening segment talking about how just unusual. I wish I had a better word than that, but just how unusual of a performance that was by the Rams, in particular a Sean McVay coached Rams team where everything was going right, and then it just seemed like everything went wrong. Can you put your finger in the second half of what changed, why that momentum was just so dramatically different from one half to the next?
Well, I think the Eagles needed a shock to their system, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And when you see what they're doing today in Tampa Bay already against another contender, I think maybe the worst part from the Rams standpoint coming out of last weekend is not just the missed opportunity, but the fact that you woke up the sleeping dragon that is the reigning Super Bowl champion. And so I think the second half, truthfully, is probably more competitively where we all saw that game being and going. And unfortunately, a lot of the things that the Rams did not take care of, the boxes they didn't check in that first half when they had the opportunity to put that out of reach, came back to haunt them. But in the end, what did Sean say? I think there were like 161 plays in that game, and if you just freeze time at 160 and say, hey, are you pleased with your performance here collectively? Have you done enough to feel like you're a championship team? The answer is yes. You just didn't play and didn't execute the 161st. Otherwise, everything that's true about last Sunday is colored differently at 3-0 here today. But can't go back in time and change any of that. Nope. The only thing you can do is take out that frustration and that motivation against another unbeaten here and perhaps again on Thursday against a rival San Francisco.
We're talking about this loss to the Eagles, and when we were watching, I couldn't explain what was happening. I'm not sure what the game plan was or what was said in the second half. Do you think it was more of adjustments on the Eagles coaching staff that, okay, we've got it figured out, this is how we're going to attack, and that's why they had success? Or is it the Rams taking their foot off the gas a little bit and playing conservative in the second half?
I don't think the Rams took their foot off their gas. I know a lot of your audience will probably disagree with that assessment, but I think the Eagles getting their right tackle position solved was a really big deal. The game changed when they went to their third option there and shored up some of that leaky pressure that Verse and others were capitalizing on. I think just being forced to throw the football to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, whether they wanted to or not, in those spots, paid off in their favor. I mean, I always look at it through the opposite lens, right? Like when you talk about fourth down decisions or what does your opponent not want to see you do? I don't think any of us wanted to see the corners of the Rams tested by that passing attack. Right. And they finally got to it and had great success. But then as much as anything, I hate to oversimplify it, but they got outplayed at the quarterback position last week. Yeah. Matthew Stafford is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. I will argue that till I'm blue in the face. But for 3 hours last week, and especially in that second half, that's not true. He wasn't. He missed on a lot of throws. Give me 5, 6, 7 that I could point to where if he connects the way that he does to his standard with Puka, with Devontae, with others, that game is over. There is no pathway back for the Philadelphia Eagles.
He missed Devontae on a few over routes in the red zone that were easy touchdowns.
Completely. And you could point to, if a flag drops here or doesn't drop there. Sure, all those things are equally true, but those are beyond your control. But when you've got a future Hall of Fame quarterback and a future Hall of Fame receiver missing on a 5-yard speed out in the red zone, at this level, those things cost you games. And last week it cost the Rams a game.
Don't forget you can order for pickup on Uber Eats at SoFi Stadium and skip the line so you don't miss any of the action. Use code RAMS to get up to 40% off your next 3 stadium pickup orders of $25 or more. Terms apply. Offer expires February 8th, 2026. So kind of staying there, JB, with Davante Adams and Matthew Stafford. Their connection, their mind meld, or however we want to say it, where is it through the first 3 weeks of the season as you see it? Because we've seen it when he's locked in with Cooper Kupp. We've seen it when he's locked in with Puka Nacua.
Yeah.
Are we getting closer to that point with Davante Adams?
It's a great question because I think it gets to the crux of the matter. The Rams have been really good. Take the records out of it. Just look at their performance, their efficiency, their metrics. They've been great. They've not capitalized always finishing drives. It could be better, and that's how I feel about that relationship. Davante Adams has transformed this offense year over year, and yet he is experiencing the lowest catch rate of his career, only pulling in 44% of his targets. So they're spamming him, and they're spamming him because he's killing it, and he's wide open. He's arguably the most open receiver in the league by separation score. And whether it's because of the lost training camp, time on task, the new relationship, whatever it is, the lack of time in the pocket and the lack of protection for Matthew Stafford, you can point to a number of things. But in the end, as good as they've been, I don't think they've even scratched the surface for what their upside can be. And so when you get that target rate and that catch rate closer to 60, 70%, look out, because then defenses are really going to have to pick their poison. You cannot bracket both of the star receivers that the Rams have and get the number count right in the box to deal with Kyron Williams. And then the next layers of Whittington and Tutu Atwell eventually, and these other options that are coming, hopefully at tight end included.
The Rams are playing a Colts team that not only gets after the quarterback, one of the best teams in the NFL that can get after the quarterback, but they do a good job in protecting their own. What is the bigger challenge for the Rams today? Getting after and creating pressure on Indiana Jones or protecting Matthew Stafford?
I think the bigger challenge is defensively. I will be shocked if the Rams don't come out on their front foot and really attack and have success offensively. I know the metrics are good on defense for the Colts so far, but I don't think their caliber of competition puts a whole lot of weight into those numbers. I think the teams that they've beaten specifically offensively leave a lot to be desired, and that's why some are still doubting their 3-0 record. I'll color it the other direction, which is to say, if they've had offensive success against the Denver Broncos, that's all I need to know. Like, forget having scored the most points in 3 games in a generation. Forget being among the top 3 in the league in scoring points. If you can have success against that Denver defense, you're for real. And I've always thought that Shane Steichen has a great playbook. And I thought that their roster was actually pretty competitive for as bad as their quarterback play was last year. To be in contention all the way through and not eliminated until late, that says to me that they were ready to contend. They just needed to get the QB thing right. And Jones may not be a world beater, but in this system, playing point guard as he does with the mobility to move his spot, I think this is clicking. I think this is humming, and this is a real deal for the Rams defense today. But they do get a bit of scheduling luck. They get a backup right guard because Matt Gonzalez is inactive with a toe injury. Anytime you're down a piece on the offensive line dealing with these Rams defensively, you're in trouble. There's blood in the water. And then Alec Pierce being out in the concussion protocol, leading the NFL in yards per catch last season as he did, being the vertical stretch that he is, for an ailing corner group right now that's still looking for answers and some chemistry, again, that is scheduling luck that could help the Rams get to the finish line today that you just can't account for because you have nothing to do for it except when you play the team and where. And today, at home at SoFi, with an opponent that's 3-0, they won the injury report. Like, they won Friday afternoon with the injury report. It's incumbent upon them to cash that in on Sunday afternoon as well.
JB Long, the voice of the Rams, joining us, getting us ready for Colts and Rams kickoff coming up just a little bit after 1 o'clock. JB, give me an X factor or two for today's game.
Yeah, as much as I just said that I think the Rams are going to have a lot of offensive success today, the only caveat to that is McVay and Stafford have had some trouble head-to-head with Lou Anarumo. Going back to the Bengals days, and this is a bit of a Lou revenge tour, right? Because he got blown out of Cincinnati, arguably through no fault of his own. They ran out of resources, having spent them all on the offensive side of the football, and they made a change at defensive coordinator. And so I think Cincinnati's loss has become Indianapolis's benefit, where they get a high-caliber coordinator with some pieces in place to do damage. And so whether it's Stafford head-to-head or McVay head-to-head, like the Super Bowl here and then that primetime trip that we took to Cincinnati a couple of years ago, for whatever reason, Anarumo's kind of had their number, and so I'm looking forward to seeing if they can't solve that puzzle schematically here today with the pieces they have in place now in 2025.
The Rams X Factor is brought to you by the Los Angeles International Airport, where change is in the air. Learn more at lawa.org/ESPN.
All right, last question for me. Who is getting the final or the first touchdown of the game? I do play Prize Picks now, JB. I just need a little help.
It's a good question, Sua. I mean, I would like to think that the Rams will lean into the dual-headed rushing attack that I think they really put forth last week. But on my mind, first and foremost, is the fact that Puka Nacua still has not unlocked the end zone, specifically the red zone. For as star-studded a start to his career as he's had, those who play him in fantasy football know he doesn't find the end zone often. And he's yet to have a receiving touchdown this year. His only score was on that long run that he broke in Nashville. So I got to think, because I saw training camp and I saw the way that they were using him on short fields, that sooner or later that dam is going to break. And I wonder if McVay, in his design, and Stafford in his targets, aren't intentional about just establishing that and getting that out of the way so it doesn't build into a bigger story as the weeks roll on.
I was praying you said Kyron Williams because that's who I picked, but I'm not playing against Puka, so I'm not mad at
you.
All right.
Got you covered.
I mean, Kyron's always the favorite when it comes to scoring touchdowns for this team. That's been 3 years in the making, so I don't think you're in a bad water there.
All right, appreciate it.
JB, I know that you talked with DeMarco a little bit about this. He and I were talking about it on our show as well, and I'll just put it in baseball terms. Were the Rams tipping their pitches on field goals? Is that what happened with those two blocks?
I mean, he seems to think so. It's one of those, for me, probably an all of the above answers to the test where, is it scheme? Yeah. Is it personnel? Unfortunately, yes. Like, they've been shuffling all sorts of bodies, especially on that side of the field goal operation. Is it maybe like a pitcher who just takes one look at second and brings it home, and the runner at second base steals third off of him easily? I would, if nothing else, I would change up that cadence, because you guys know when you've got a raw nerve in this league, the next team that you face on your schedule is going to squeeze it until you scream. And so I hope that Cardi in the field goal operation, that their first try today is an extra point, and that they can start to build some confidence, because lost in everything that happened in the fourth quarter last week is that Cardi had made 23 in a row. Like, as bad as it was in the kicking game for so long here in LA, Cardi and Chase Blackburn, like, they've solved for that. It's been brilliant recently. And then furthermore, you look at average starting field position for the Rams' opponents this year, they have weaponized the dynamic kickoff. The Eagles' average starting field position last week was their own 15-yard line. That is ginormous. And it should have been what we were talking about in the kicking game. Unfortunately, that positive, story arc was completely dashed by having back-to-back field goals blocked. So make no mistake. I mean, if you want to go back and redo the X Factor, we can go back and have a second take at that. And I'll just say, protecting your field goal operation, period, point blank, nothing else matters more than that today.
JB, you hit the nail right on the head. From my experience in the league, when a special team coach sees a fish on film, the entire league sees it, and we are drawing a game plan to attack specifically you until it's fixed. So I hope they got it figured out.
I mean, you can speak to that really well, and I encourage you to do so for the benefit of our audience down the road. Like, those people take paychecks and they put in 80-hour weeks too. Like, what are they doing? Just like they're breaking down film and looking for tendencies at the quarterback position, or how receivers get in and out of their break, or, how they're playing you in terms of their coverage schemes. Like, special teams coordinators, they comb through everything. And believe me, the Eagles last week didn't just discover a crack in the wall. They saw an extra point blocked in Tennessee and said, oh, what's going on there? And
after a week like last week, After a week like last week, my special teams coach from Denver, Coach Midge, he'd come into the special teams meeting, dim the lights, and just play the Rams 2 field goals getting blocked and say, we've got a fish. And the whole week would be about that guy. So, yeah, that's true.
And it's not just like, hey, can they fix what was wrong with them last week? It's what do we think their adjustment is going to be? How are they going to compensate for this deficiency? And maybe we slip in the other side and really make it hurt in a different way.
JB Long will be on the call coming up just about an hour and a half from right now. JB, always great to talk with you. Thanks so much.
All right, guys. Have a good rest of your preview show. Appreciate you.
All right, we'll see you at halftime. Now, we're going to take a look around the rest of the league. That is coming up next on the Toyota Rams Countdown to Kickoff on 710 ESPN. But not before we talk about what we got cooking on Prize Picks today, right? You know what Prize Picks is by now, right? You look at the board, you make more or less decisions on the stat projections, and that's it. You don't even have to pick them all right. With the flex play that Prize Pick came up with, you can still get one of your picks wrong and still double your money. So here's what we got going today. Matthew Stafford, here's the Prize Picks projection, 249.5 yards passing. I think they're going to run the ball a lot today. I'm going to go less than that. Tyler Warren, Indianapolis, right? The tight end for them, the rookie tight end, 50.5 yards receiving. I think they're going to do a good job on him. Let's go less than that. And Tutu Atwell, 13.5 yards receiving. I think we're going to go less than there. That's it. That's what Prize Picks is. Pick more, pick less, and you too can win big. So download the app today. Use the code TRAV to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Don't forget that code, TRAV, TRAV, to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5